and my name is Jordan Obeas. I'm the founder of dayNumber. I've been documenting my journey for the last 390 days here on YouTube. And if it's your first time tuning in, essentially I document my journey every single day, basically what happened the day before, and then also what's going to happen today. And essentially I share a topic related to basically what happened each day. And today I said that if you don't do this as a founder, then you'll fail, right? And that one thing I'm going to share with you in a sec is essentially yesterday, I told myself, and this has been the pattern for the last I don't know how many days or how long, is that, oh, okay, I'm going to go reach out to founders, or I'm going to talk to VCs, I'm going to do replies. Yesterday, probably talked to one founder, didn't talk to any VCs. Started drafting like emails to actually do it, but I never did it. And then I actually, I didn't move forward with it, And one of the things I did yesterday was I actually, spoke to. I had a meeting with, one of my the owners of the company that I work for. And one of the things that we talked about was one of the principles I teach during sales training, which is, be on time, or I translated that to honor your word. So, hey, Kyler Roblox plays, what's going on? Welcome. Long time no see. And and that's the one thing that we all have to do, and I have to do myself, because one of the things I talked about yesterday, with one of the owners of the company, is that when we make commitments, whether it's to someone else or to ourselves, and then we break those commitments without even acknowledging it, it ends up creating subconsciously a block for us to actually, create what we're looking to create. Some people might say like manifest what we're going to manifest, right? And so whenever we're actually making a commitment to ourselves, one of the biggest things and this is a reminder for myself, one of the biggest things that we have to do is, first of all, the moment you know that you're going to break a commitment to yourself or to somebody else, we have to acknowledge it first. All right. The first step is to acknowledge that, okay, I'm going to break this commitment that I made. Okay. Whether it's going to the gym, or, doing something that you said you were going to do, or maybe making a meeting, or I don't know, a project that you're looking to finish. And then once you acknowledge that to yourself versus the other person, you need to actually create a new commitment, right? Okay. With yourself or that other person. That way, what happens is you build trust with yourself, because one of the biggest reasons why most people, even myself, don't actually end up succeeding or actually creating the life that they want is because, they cannot honor agreements or follow through on agreements, right? What is this? Kyler Roblox says, tomorrow is my final exam, bro. I hope I had the answers right. Okay, good job. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Matthew 9:21. Yes, you're right. I remember hearing that quote for the first time back when in around 2007, when I was actually in network marketing, and one of my uplines or my mentors said, when we were talking about like basically sales or trying to convince people, is that you're not there to try to persuade or change somebody, So that's why when I do these talks, I'm not here to change your mind or anything like that in terms of like persuade you to think a certain way. I'm just sharing what I learned, from my experience and what I'm doing. And one of the biggest things for me is, and for anybody here, is that we've all made commitments that we say we're going to do, like go to the gym or do something or work on a project, or to tell somebody else like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do that. But we've all broken commitments. So one of the biggest things that we have to do is honor our word. Part of honoring your word is not like you can't break a commitment, but if you know you're going to break a commitment, for something that you said you were going to do, first of all, acknowledge it. Say, okay, you know what? I can't come through on this day. Or you know what? I know I said I was going to do this, but I can't. And then make a new agreement, with yourself or somebody else. Sorry guys, I know it's kind of like noisy here. Some people mowing the lawn here with Max. So ultimately, as a founder, your word is your bond. If you're building a product, okay, if you're building a company, you're building a business, okay, whatever it is, even if you're just doing something yourself, your word, you are your word, right? So the reason why you're probably not successful, or even myself, is because I haven't honored my word. I haven't followed through on what I said I was gonna do, right? But the people that follow through on what they say they're gonna do, guess what? They end up becoming successful. Why? Because people trust them. They trust themselves. They build trust with themselves, and then they build trust with others, right? And I think that's one of the key things that you have to do is you have to, in order to build trust with, first of all, the first person you have to build trust with is yourself, okay? If you don't trust yourself, you're never gonna go take those risks. You're never gonna go after the big goals in life. You're never gonna go after, the things that truly matter for you, right? You're never gonna take that chance to actually build something. And then even if you do, guess what? Subconsciously, when you're dealing with other people, they're gonna be like, I don't trust this guy. For some reason, I don't trust this guy. Why? Because within yourself, subconsciously, you've broken your word so many times. Trust is built on your word, right? So Matthew 9:21 says, preach. Kyla Block says, I heard you are a CEO of Abundance Media Group in your other channel, right? No, not anymore. I mean, that was like a while ago. I had a company that called Abundance Media Group. It was a marketing agency, and I had to shut it down because basically I wasn't able to continue running it. I lost a few big clients that I had at that time. I think I was generating about $15,000 a month, and with just a few clients, and then something happened where I couldn't afford to do it anymore, and I had to transition out of it. So yeah, even with that, I when I was building that company, like, we had staff like in the Philippines, and I couldn't afford to continue paying them because we lost a few big clients. And also I had another business that was kind of funding it. So even with that, I still want to honor my word with the people that, used to work with me, saying, hey, look, for the time that you worked, and that was like 3 years ago, So that's the thing, is like, there's been many, even when I'm saying all this stuff, I'm basically preaching to myself. It's like, Jordan, man, you gotta be a man of your word and follow through on what you said you're gonna do. And it's a huge thing. If you want people to trust you, first of all, you have to trust yourself. And that's like one of the biggest things is in sales or in business, you have to, how do you build trust with yourself? You show up every day, that's the first step. That's why I built dayNumber. That's why I'm doing this every day. These lives every day, because first of all, I want to honor my word. I want to follow through, saying that, okay, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to build dayNumber, and I'm going to follow through on, my commitment of building what I said I was going to build, right? Ahmad Jordan said, hi, join the council. Kyler Block's Play says, join what council? Yeah, what council are you talking about? What council? So that's the one thing you guys need to do, and I think the key thing is, it always goes back to, the mission of why you started in the first place. It has to mean something to you. Something, whatever it is that you put your word out there for, publicly or even within yourself or even with somebody else, is if you say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym. Okay, if there's not a big enough why on why you're actually planning to do that, then you're not gonna follow through. No matter how much you say you make recommit to whatever it is that you said you were gonna do, it's not gonna matter if it didn't matter to you in the first place. You're gonna keep putting it off, right? But that's why I show up every day here on YouTube, because what I'm building matters. And I know also somebody probably watching this, maybe now, in the future, 10 years from now, maybe they needed to hear it. So the first step is, always knowing what you want and why you want it, right? It has to be a big enough why, to compel you to actually come through and do what you say you're going to do every single day, right? Matthew 9:21, definitely subbed, very intellectually sound. Thank you for the advice. Shout out Matthew 9:21. Thank you so much. Max, you're not gonna go pee yet? Waiting for Max to go pee. He's taking a bit. Okay, now he might go. So yeah, if you guys are a founder, I would love to connect with you. Actually, if you're watching this for the first time, I have a community that I built called dayNumber. You'll see the link in my bio. It's daynumber.io/community. But yeah, sometimes it does take, other people to hold you accountable as well. Sometimes you need, a friend or, a community to actually help you to stay accountable or honor your word. That's why some people, they get coaches, they get trainers, or they join a community, or they join a group, whatever it is, in order to support themselves, because sometimes it is hard, and you need people to sometimes call you out, on your BS, the lies that you're telling yourself of why you didn't do what you didn't do. Every time you make an excuse for why you didn't do something that you said you were going to do, it actually causes you to trust yourself less subconsciously, right? So when you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility, and yeah, stuff happens, life happens. Guess what? Life is gonna happen. There's gonna be reasons why you can't do what you say you're gonna do, right? But you have to acknowledge that, okay, yeah, you know what? I can't come through on this. I can't make it on this, or I can't follow through on this. And then you make a new commitment. That's the key, is making a new agreement with yourself. Or if it was to somebody else, say, hey, look, I know I said I was gonna do this, or I can't come through, but you know what? I'm gonna make it up to you. That's a big thing as well, is acknowledging the fact that, okay, it affected the person in a certain way, but you're gonna make it up to them, right? So, that's another thing that also builds trust with yourself and others, right? So, but if you just dismiss and you're like, that wasn't my fault, or you blame it on somebody else, you blame it on the world, you blame it on the economy, you blame it on, your spouse, you blame it on your kids, you could blame it on anything you want, okay? But it doesn't remove the fact that you weren't able to come through and take responsibility. What actually builds trust with yourself and others is that you took responsibility for whatever happened. Even if there was an earthquake, even if there was like some freaking tsunami that happened, okay? Take responsibility. Say, hey, look, I know I said I was gonna come through with building this website for you, but there was actually a tsunami that happened. Okay, obviously that wasn't your fault, but at least you acknowledge it. Say, instead of just saying, I couldn't get it done, right? Kyla Block says, it's been raining in my country since 1 month, but it finally stopped, and I was suffering to the rain. I saw the town, everyone was enjoying swimming it, bro. It was flooded. Yeah, you know what? In Philippines, it's happened like that too. Many times there's like a hurricane, tsunami, or whatever, and people embraced it. You gotta embrace, whatever situation is given to you at the end of the day. See, there's gonna be people that in your situation might say like, what a crappy thing that happened. What a bad thing that happened. You know what? This is the reason why. That I couldn't get whatever it is I said I was gonna get done, and it didn't get done. And then there's gonna be other people who said, you know what? It was a crappy thing that happened, but I still got it done somehow. Or you know what? I'm still gonna get it done anyway, but I can't just do it in this time frame that I said, right? So So anyways, this is that's why I don't make excuses in terms of why certain things, like even if I told myself like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and that, but it's my fault, it's my responsibility, you know. So anyways, hold on one second, guys, give me 1 sec. Kyler Block Space, all your live streams I watch were cool, and the advices, thank you so much for the advices in your live streams. Even I also learned. Sorry I wasn't in one of them. It's all good. I was so busy. It's all good, man. It's all good. Kyler Blocks. Just waiting for my dog to pee. Max, come on. Come on, let's go. It's busy on this road here. Yeah, hang on a second. Sorry if it's shaky, guys. But yeah, that's the key thing is, that's what I realized yesterday as I was talking to, one of the owners of the company that I work for, is, yeah, even something as simple as being on time, you know? If you say you're gonna be somewhere for an appointment, you know, whether it's online or in person, be there early. If you're not early, you're not on time, you know? So just that simple principle of being on time somewhere. Sorry guys, it's really noisy right now. Look at this. I'm right near the road. I'm just waiting for Max to actually do something. He's looking for a spot. But yeah, just a simple act of do that practice. You want to start building trust with yourself and honoring your word. Be on time. Be early. There's a saying that I heard from Kevin Trudeau. He said, I'd rather be an hour early than 5 minutes late. Okay, repeat that to yourself. I'd rather be an hour early than 5 minutes late. Because number one, it sets you back mentally, right? When you're late, you know? And also people start losing trust with you, you know? So anytime you break an honor, break an agreement, especially even just as something as simple as the time, that's how you start building trust with yourself. You know, it's the foundation, right? Time, you could say it's an illusion, but it's also a metric of honoring your word, right? So VK Gamer says, hey bro, what's up? Jake Edits, welcome back. Yo, I love Max. Yes, Maxi people love you. People love you, Max. So where's everyone tuning in from today? If your first time here, would love to know. My battery's about to die soon, so but I'm gonna keep going until my battery dies. Well, maybe not. Maybe I might be able to end the stream before my battery dies. See, that's another thing. It's not so much about, like, here's the thing. Some people can get so crazy with it. We're like, oh my gosh, I said I was gonna do this and that, and like they get too crazy. But it's like, no, like if you actually make a promise to yourself about doing something, you know, just start with something small, you know, and then start also only making agreements and promises to yourself or somebody else that you know you can actually do, you know. And then another thing is, if you did make an agreement and you know you can't come through with it, acknowledge it. You know, just say, hey, look, to yourself or to others, okay, I can't come through with this, and then make a new agreement. That's the key, right? And then if you did break an agreement, you couldn't make a new one with someone else, make it up to someone. Say, hey, look, I'm gonna make it up to you, and actually do something to make it up to that person, right? Jake said, it says, I love Max, I wish I had a retriever. Hey man, remember what we talked about yesterday? Anything's possible, man. Did you do that exercise? I didn't. I forgot. I said I would do that exercise. But anyways, if the stream ends, it probably is. It's kind of getting choppy a little bit now. It's kind of getting laggy. Just remember, guys, remember, first of all, your why, like I was talking about yesterday and every other day, why you're doing what you're doing. And then secondly, remember, your word is your bond, okay? In order to be successful as a founder, you need to, number one, build trust with yourself. So honor your word with yourself, right? Do what you say you're gonna do. And if you can't do it, acknowledge it and make a new agreement, okay? If it's with somebody else, do the same thing. And also try to make it up to them, okay, if you can. But yeah, thanks guys. Shout out to everybody here. I know it's laggy right now, probably the connection. Shout out to Kyler Blocks Plays, Jake's Edits. Who else was here? VK Gamer, Matthew 921, Ahmed Jordan. Who else here? Yeah, and everybody else that's tuned in. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And thanks for everybody that subscribed and liked. I'll be live again tomorrow, guys. Have a great rest of your day.